From sampling to scraping, AI, music, rights, and the return of creative control. We've entered an era where machines can generate entire tracks that feel eerily human, emotionally resonant, genre-specific, radio-ready. But as these models scale, so do the questions. What are these models really made of? Who owns the ingredients? And who gets to profit from the output? From sampling to scraping, the sampling era gave us some of the most creative and contentious moments in modern music. Producers used physical recordings as tools for cutting, looping, and transforming them into something new. But it came with a cost: lawsuits, gatekeeping, and eventually licensing models that tried to balance innovation with ownership. Now, we're dealing with models that don't sample snippets, they absorb entire catalogs. Modern AI music generators are trained on massive datasets that include copyrighted material, often without permission. These models don't merely copy audio, they internalize patterns, styles, and semantics. The result? Music that can echo a real artist's voice, melody, or phrasing, without using a single original file. If a DJ couldn't release a track without clearing the sample, why should AI get to? Rights management grows up, or does it? The music industry is responding. Tools like Sound Patrol's neural fingerprinting promise to detect AI-generated music that borrows from protected works, even when the borrowing is subtle, stylized, or remixed beyond recognition. The promise is real-time detection of musical influence across streaming ecosystems. But what does it mean to detect influence? Genre-based music has always evolved by building on itself. A funk bass line becomes a hip-hop loop. A pop melody gets interpolated into a ballad. We've never drawn hard lines around inspiration. So, how do we distinguish creative reference from commercial misuse, especially when it's machines doing the referencing? Stakeholders meet the system. Here's who this touches, and what's at stake. Artists want protection from having their voices cloned or styles stolen. But they also want freedom to use AI as part of their process. The line between help and harm is razor thin. Independent musicians have already begun filing lawsuits against AI music platforms for allegedly using their works without permission, thus raising the alarm that small creators are often the most vulnerable in this shift. And yet, many artists will never let go of the tactile, personal act of making music. There's something irreplaceable about running your hands across guitar strings, dialing in a synth patch, or belting a line through your own mic. Not because it's efficient, but because it's human. The existence of AI tools may not kill that instinct. Perhaps it might even sharpen it. As AI-generated content floods the digital space, we may begin to assign more emotional and cultural value to the handcrafted, the analog, the real. Consumers deserve transparency. What are they listening to? Is it a real human's creation? Or is it a machine remixing someone else's? Platforms like Deezer are already experimenting with labeling AI-generated tracks to support listener awareness. And as music becomes more automated, many listeners may seek out the original. Just like a generation raised on virtual rides might one day crave the rattle and roar of a wooden roller coaster, we may see a premium placed on music made with traditional instruments, unfiltered voices, and visible process. There's nostalgia in the unpolished. And in a world saturated with synthetic soundscapes, imperfections might become the new badge of authenticity. Tech builders must ensure detection models don't overreach. False positives, genre confusion, and explainability challenges will be the battleground. If detection becomes too aggressive or too opaque, it risks punishing innovation instead of protecting creation. The system must be as artist-aware as it is AI-aware. Platforms and labels are threading a needle, embracing AI's potential, while safeguarding the value of massive legacy catalogs. The goal is to harness what's new without cannibalizing what's proven, and, in doing so, being forced simultaneously to define what authentic music means in an age of endless recombination. Society faces a creative crossroads. Will we incentivize originality or industrial-scale mimicry? And if creation scales infinitely through AI, who is left to watch the gates? Copyright used to be protected at the level of publishing contracts and legal notices. Now it requires active monitoring. Song by song, model by model, large rights holders like Universal Music Group can afford to embed these systems, run audits, and pursue legal claims. But what about independent creators? Who defends them in this automated arms race? Do they need to subscribe to detection services, hire lawyers? Or is there a future where artists form cooperatives to watch one another's backs? If AI democratizes creation, do we also need to democratize enforcement? My position: use AI to create, not commercialize. I believe I can assist the creative process. It can spark ideas, remix themes, or help artists explore new sonic territories. But that doesn't mean AI outputs should be released commercially without clearance. If AI learns from artists without their permission, then generates music inspired by them, it's not different from sampling. It's just sneakier. Just like in the early days of hip-hop and house music, artists today should be able to explore and iterate. But when that exploration becomes exploitation, especially at commercial scale, we need clear lines. Licensing, credits, and fair compensation are not barriers to innovation. They're the foundation of a sustainable creative economy. We've built this before. We can do it again, but only if we stop pretending that AI is creating in a vacuum. Join the conversation. What happens when the tools we use to make music become so powerful they no longer require us to play them? Can creativity still feel personal when it's generated, not performed? As music becomes easier to produce, will we begin to crave the friction, the flaws, the fingerprints of the human behind the sound? Or will we lose the instinct to tell the difference? Drop a comment below or tag us in your posts. What's your perspective on this story? Want to share it with Sean on a podcast? Let him know. If you have a topic or event you want me to explore, drop me a direct message, and we can discuss the opportunity. Sean Martin is a lifelong musician and the host of the Music Evolves podcast, a career technologist, cybersecurity professional, and host of the Redefining Cybersecurity podcast, and is also the co-host of the On Location Event Coverage podcast. These shows are all part of ITSP magazine, which he co-founded with his good friend Marco Ciappelli, to explore and discuss topics at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Would you like Sean to work with you on a topic/series to help you tell your story? Visit his services page to learn more, seanmartin.com/services. Want to connect with Sean and Marco on location at an event or conference near you? See where they will be next, itspmagazine.com/on-location. Want to chat with Sean about branding, marketing, go-to-market, sales enablement, or other topics related to bringing solutions to the business? Connect with him on Studio C60, studiocc60.com. To learn more about Sean, visit his personal website, seanmartin.com. Thank you for listening. Signing off now. Yours truly, Tape 9.